what's the biggest thing in 2025 is everyone thinks the league is scripted. Imagine if they had a Vince McMahon who literally has a scripted league of wrestlers into the NFL.
Talk about a dude only drafting people or signing people or having a head coach that's just for the headline. That dude would win some fucking media room.
Could you imagine Vince McMahon, Jerry Jones face off? Who can get the better headline? Jerry Jones is like the man at it in the NFL, but he couldn't even hold water to Vince McMahon. When it comes to a headline, when it comes to a storyline, not a chance.
Welcome to the Real OShow. I'm Zachary. Joining me as always, my partner in crime, my brother Joshua.
On today's episode, we talk WWE's new show, Unreal. We break down the loophole billionaires use to buy NFL teams and tell some wild owner stories. Enjoy.
They paper getters, they want money more than they want fame shit. I swear we go so hard, we on A-list. I see my niggas prevailing. We going hard for the hand. We gonna stack till we jaded.
This is a great interview. They doing their thing.
Joshua, I have to give you some real props for putting me on Unreal on Netflix. That has changed my opinion on the whole WWE. Obviously, it's fake, it's scripted, but not that it's fake, like they're not actually getting hurt or they're not actually getting thrown through
really
a
not
fucking
that
ladder or a
fake.
table. But it's fake in the outcomes.
Yes.
It's fake in like they're not fully punching them and actually hitting them with chairs that can hurt them. There's obviously, it's a production, but I think what the Unreal doc has done, and as we've talked about off camera, actual WWE fans hate it, but I love it, and I actually have more of an appreciation for the WWE for doing that in a world where like they try to like keep up this facade that it's real when it's really not. But obviously the people live real lives and they're actual humans behind the camera.
It's give and take. It's like if you mixed Broadway and the NFL, right? There is that realm of storytelling side of it that they have to tell these stories, but there's also the side of it is they're still jumping through tables. They're still doing these crazy athletic feats that you can't just do as a regular human, and you're still going to get hurt. Anyone who thinks that WWE is fake, go back and watch the I Show Speed Royal Rumble, him getting speared. Go tell me if he thought that was fake, because that shit is real. Like, these guys are still hitting each other. Now, you have to also take it with a grain of salt. These guys are 365 days a year. There is no off season for the WWE, so they have to obviously be fake in some senses. But these guys are still really getting hurt. Like Cody Rhodes said when he did the ladders and chair match, he basically said, I just hope I can call my wife and be like, I'm okay. That right there just shows that there is a real life behind it. But it is kind of cool to see how they are painting these pictures and being like, who's going to be the champion? Who's going to go down? Who's going up? Like, it is a very cool process to see.
How do you think they practice a ladders and chairs match? The chairs makes more sense, but do you think they're actually practicing getting thrown on ladders?
Absolutely. Like,
so they're wearing those in practice and like, all right, go do it again a week later.
There's a classic cage match between The Undertaker and Kane. The first time ever bringing Kane out. And there's a ton of footage of them practicing this cage match. Obviously, it was a really anticipated debut where The Undertaker was kind of like the guy, and this was like the first guy that like actually challenged him.
But Kane was his brother, essentially,
exactly.
Right? In the written story.
An insane asylum brother who was like lost, who then came by. And that's why like if you ever watch their first match, it's actually fucking insane how much they built into it. And then you start realizing like, having all these intricate storylines is kind of like every other sport, except they're kind of fostering them. And don't get me wrong, the NFL is fostering their own headlines, storylines themselves.
Undertaker has to be the scariest WWE person of all time.
On the Mount Rushmore, I think.
No, that's for sure. He's definitely like on the John Cena like list. But in WWE now, is there anybody that is like the Undertaker? Like, is there anybody that's scary? Is there anybody like when they come off, the lights go off and the hell bells, and then like out of nowhere he pops up right behind people? Like, I remember as a kid, I used to be so fucking scared when The Undertaker would come out, especially if it was like your guy out there. Like if it was a guy you liked and you heard The Undertaker, you're like, well, he's getting his fucking neck broken. Like, that shit used to piss me off and scare me at the same time. But, like, it's that lightning in the bottle, and it's so cool that they're now peeling back the curtain, as you could say, to show you the writer's room. But it's the whole essence of what I've talked about for 2 decades, really, in my head. Not so much with you, but I think as of late with you, is, like, Hard Knocks and these behind the scenes. And now you see it in season Hard Knocks, and the NHL has it. Like, everybody's doing it because that's actually what fans want. They want to see these players that they idolize be normal human beings.
See, there's a flip side to it because if you look at someone like Logan Paul, for example, Logan Paul does a very good job in his weekly vlogs of showing the behind the scenes of WWE, but he doesn't really show you the behind the scenes. Like, he's still like there being like, yeah, fuck Jelly Roll. Like, I hate it. And it's like he's playing into that character, playing into that hype.
Yeah, exactly.
But he really doesn't feel that way. Like, him and Jelly behind the scenes are boys. They're loving each other.
Yeah.
So it's like having that mystery is good. Like, peeling back the layers to an extent is good, but I wonder how much this does trigger WWE fans. Like Paul Heyman, who's like one of the like OGs, he's like the guy in wrestling from a standpoint of like was with Roman Reigns, was with like all the OG guys, like introduced a bunch of people. He was the guy who initially found Kane. He's been around forever. And they interviewed him, asking him how he likes it. And he was like, I hate it. But he's like, I can see why they're doing it. They're trying to draw more fans that aren't in the WWE universe. But if you go to anything WWE, you'll notice how crazy the fans are. Like, they love this shit.
Yeah, they're NPCs. They don't have consciousness.
Maybe, but then you could say the same thing about someone who likes NFL. You could say the same thing about, yes, you could.
No, because the NFL is actually, but listen, if someone who's an NFL fan doesn't have some part of their mind that thinks it's a little bit rigged, NPC. But I think anybody who's truly, truly in it and truly, truly watching the NFL thinks it's like a little rigged.
But you could still go into the WWE being like, I know this is rigged. Like, I know they already know the winner, but it's still fun to like watch it and be like, oh shit, this is cool. Like, they're always going to throw a curveball. Like they said, like the most predictable thing they can't have, so they change it up. And you start seeing all these different things happen.
Need to go to a WWE match live, because like watching it on TV or buying a pay-per-view, like I used to love, I don't know if you remember this, Joshua, when we used to go to Blockbuster back in the day, I used to love getting the pay-per-views to watch, and like they're months old, but like weren't in a household to buy pay-per-view, and especially WWE. But the video or like watching it on TV is just played out. I need to go see it in actual person to see the acting and the effort and actually see them get hit by a fucking chair, and then not be like, oh, they kind of blocked it, but the sound effect is, you know,
I'm not gonna lie, even if you go down like a shitty ass wrestling thing, it doesn't have to be WWE, it doesn't have to be NXT, it doesn't have to be any of the good people. You can go to like a mall wrestling match, and that shit's fun as fuck.
No, the mall, but see, the mall is real. Someone will break a fucking neck because they're not talented.
Well, that's just because they're not trained well.
Exactly.
You still don't want to see someone break their neck. Like, you don't want to see anyone get hurt.
Of course, but that's where it happens.
Kind of, but like, listen, there is a lot of theater that goes involved with it. There's a lot of things that go into it. But I think the WWE has really cemented themselves because, again, TKO, this huge embodiment of WWE, UFC, and now boxing, like, they're going to take anything that has to do with anything combat, they're going to own it, and it's going to be theirs. And they're going to dominate it, whether it's real, whether it's scripted, whatever it is. Everything in between is going to be WWE.
Yeah, and I will also give you credit here because I think it'll be a good segue into our next topic. I do feel in the Unreal doc, they're trying to give a little bit too much recognition and like fame to Triple H as like he built the WWE, and I think he's going to do a great job, and I love Triple H. I truly love Triple H. But Vince McMahon is the creator and the reason that WWE is even a thing.
Yeah, I mean, Vince was the whole mastermind behind all this. The reason why there's even wrestling today is because of Vince. Now, he's done a lot of fucked up shit, and that's why he's no longer a part of the WWE, but he is still the pioneer that built everything that you see today. Everything that they're able to do was because of Vince. All these storylines, the way they're able to weave shit, is because of Vince. He was always known as the mastermind of figuring out what storyline should go where, who should get the belt when. He is the mastermind behind it. I want to stay on the wrestling topic because we kind of just ran into this. But in 1998, Vince McMahon actually tried to buy an NFL team. McMahon was at the height of his wrestling empire, expanding the WWE, which at the time was called the WWF. Long story on that. And they were looking for new ways to grow his brand. Like in WWE fashion, he wanted to make a big storyline. He wanted to make a big splash out of all this. The idea was to purchase an NFL team, most specifically the Minnesota Vikings, and to bring the entertainment and larger-than-life spectacle of wrestling to football. He wanted to bring all of it. He wanted to bring the party. He wanted to bring the crazy fans. He was trying to make the NFL more of an entertainment league, which at the time was not.
But it is now.
It is now, obviously. But the catch was the owners did not like Vince McMahon. They did not want a spectacle. They already had Jerry Jones. That was more than enough for them. So they blocked it. And instead of just cowering away, he was like, I'm going to make my own league, which was the XFL. Now, the XFL probably would have been way more successful had there not been the Canadian Football League that was a lot more advanced, a lot more, already had fan bases, already in great cities in Canada. So in 2001, 2 years after he tried to officially buy an NFL team, he creates the XFL with 8 teams, and it didn't even make one season. Literally, by the end of the season, they were like, we're done, league canceled.
He also tried to buy the CFL. I don't know if you did any more research into that. He tried to buy the CFL. CFL is had no revenue, had so many pockets, so many governors on the board. Like, it was legit impossible. And essentially, he was trying to save a sinking ship, but he wanted the American viewer, which is why he ended up creating the XFL.
Exactly. Like he did like the CFL. It just wasn't what he really, really wanted. He wanted the American draw. Again, all to help the WWE. So then 19 years after he started the first season of XFL, he tried again in 2020. What happens in 2020? COVID hits. The league is immediately canceled again, right?
Did they even play a game?
They played like a few games, canceled again, right? So basically, the league was never meant to do anything. And then he ended up selling it to Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, who was one of his wrestlers, not anymore, but basically in 2023 for $15 million, which now they're partnered up with like Fox and they have
USFL
and the USFL. And there's been a bunch of other things that have happened. So that league actually might have some success to it. It's like almost treated as the minor league of the NFL. But still, it's kind of funny that Vince was so butthurt that he couldn't buy an NFL team that he was like, I'm going to just make my own league, thinking that he could just find his own pocket. Or maybe he thought the NFL was just going to buy him. I'm not sure really what he was thinking.
Which is crazy, though, that the NFL owners, like, if they just don't like you, you literally, no matter how much money you have, you can't buy a team.
No, you have to add something to the league that they already don't have. To me, I think they look at wrestling and they're like, oh, he can't really help us with anything else. Now you're a guy who comes from like oil, now they're like, okay, yeah, this guy can come in the league. We like this guy, But I think when you're more outward,
they don't want people to be on camera.
But I also think what's the biggest thing in 2025 is everyone thinks the league is scripted. Everyone already thinks the NFL is scripted right now. Yeah. Imagine if they had a Vince McMahon who literally has a scripted league of wrestlers into the NFL. It just adds more.
Talk about a dude only drafting people or signing people or having a head coach that's just for the headline. That dude would win some fucking media rooms, let me tell you.
Could you imagine Vince McMahon, Jerry Jones face off? Who can get the better headline?
Oh, my goodness.
See, I think Jerry Jones is like the man at it in the NFL, but he couldn't even hold water to Vince McMahon. When it comes to a headline, when it comes to a storyline, not a chance.
I thought it was funny because we were talking a little bit earlier that also Trump back in the day tried to buy an NFL team, but I actually was listening to Anthony Papliano, who actually has some beef with Joshua for essentially stealing a video and blocked us on Instagram. But I want to give him credit early in this clip. But
he was mad that I draked him. We had the same topic. My video was astronomically better, even though he's been doing it for a decade and has a whole team of people. He was very upset about it, blocked us. But continue.
But anyways, he had a short 8-minute podcast clip that I listened to about how this billionaire tax loophole essentially is the reason that team evaluations in all these sports continue to go up. So when someone buys a team, they get 15 years to depreciate that team. So, you're getting hundreds of millions of tax write-offs every year. Even if the team's not profitable, or even if it is, you're still not paying taxes. So it becomes a very valuable thing to these billionaires when a team comes up for sale that they're like, well, I can get $150 million in tax write-offs and I have this shiny object that no one else has.
Not to mention there's only 32 of them. They don't make any more of them. And you're in the most exclusive club in the world, pretty much.
No matter the sport, whether it's MLB, NBA, NFL, and now really the WNBA is actually getting very high team evaluations. Those are really going to start selling for... Like, dude, bro, I also, in this podcast, Anthony said, the Golden State's WNBA team, after one season, is worth $500 million.
Oh, it was Anthony Papliano? Okay, Anthony doesn't have a problem with us. It's Joe Pop.
No. Is it Joe Pomp?
Joe Pomp
Oh,
bought
I
this.
fucked up. It's
Yeah,
Joe Pomp.
Joe
This
Pomp.
is Joe Pomp.
Sorry, Anthony. Didn't mean to
Yeah,
throw shots at you.
Anthony, you talk Bitcoin.
Yes.
Joe talks sports.
Yes.
But this is Joe. I'm giving credit to Joe here. But anyway, so this billionaire tax loophole, the reason these team evaluations keep going up is after 15 years, you can't depreciate it anymore. So you hold on to it. You have a very valuable asset. You're making money. You probably made it profitable at that point. It's good. Or 15 years, as we know, money is printed a lot in 15 years. Team evaluations go way up. You sell it. But the reason why billionaires will still buy it at these $5 billion, $6 billion, $4 billion evaluations is because they can then depreciate it for 15 years. Even after that person already depreciated it for 15 years. So it transfers over, so it allows these evaluations to keep going up.
Well, of course. And you got to think, in 15 years, 1,000%, you're going to go through another TV deal, which is going to go even higher up. So if the league has any growth at all, your team is going to go up.
Maybe the TV deal goes up. Maybe.
But I'm saying, if there's any league growth at all, the TV deal will go up, right? Because even if not, if they ever find a point where they're like, guys, we're capped, we cannot make the TV deal worth any more money, another game. Oh, now we got more money.
Of course.
So it's the money will always go up. They will find a way for it to go up.
But I thought it was funny how Vince McMahon was very petty and like wanted to buy a team and then tried to buy the CFL and then created his own league. Well, Donald Trump, when he became president, tried to kill this 15-year depreciation asset that you couldn't pass it along. So once one person depreciated the team for 15 years, if another person bought it, you wouldn't be able to do it. So Trump was trying to be petty and be like, fuck you, you don't want me to buy a team? I'll kill this whole tax loophole. Obviously, the owners stepped in and were like, all right, motherfucker, like this is not going to happen. But still, like I thought it was super funny. But it also makes sense because we've talked about this before. And this actually happened when Josh Harris bought the Commanders for $6 billion, whatever it was, $5-6 billion. And I was like, bro, that is crazy. But then Josh talked about, he's like, that the NFL content on social media is so viral. And as long as that continues to be viral, paying these premiums for these teams is still worth it. That's how he broke it down. But on the flip side, also being able to depreciate it and write off $150 million in taxes a year and not have to pay tax to the government and have this shiny object is really actually the lure to these people who are worth $20 billion.
Honestly, to be honest with you, I hear what Joe is saying. It was Joe Pomp who said it. I hear what he's saying. Like, but to be honest with you, it's kind of like a dumb fucking argument because these guys just have so much money anyway that it doesn't matter. Like, the depreciation is a good thing about it. But like do you think Jerry Jones cares about depreciating his team? He's owned it for fucking 40 years. No, he doesn't care about.
But he did
it
for 15 years.
Exactly, when the team was nothing. You know what I mean? So the team has 100x'd since the last time he could depreciate his team.
But you want to be able to depreciate it. You're a real estate guy. That's the benefits of real estate.
I hear you.
Depreciate it for 15, 20. I think it's like 27 years, whatever it is.
I want to go back to the Trump thing you said because I think the whole reason why he tried to cancel this thing to begin with is he didn't try to buy one team. Trump has tried to buy 4 different teams on 4 different occasions in different decades of literally going on.
Of the NFL?
Of the NFL. He tried to buy the Baltimore Colts in 1981. He tried to buy the Dallas Cowboys in 1984. He tried to buy the Buffalo Bills in 2014. And he tried to buy the New England Patriots in 1988. And Trump actually sued the NFL when he created the USFL. So when he was part of making the USFL, kind of very similar to Vince McMahon, except Trump has way more money, he tried to start his own league and ended up suing the NFL for a couple different reasons. But that's probably why.
So what, the owners wouldn't let him own a team? Is that actually what happened or what?
There's a few different reasons. Like the Baltimore Colts, for example, that was basically Jim Irsay taking the Baltimore Colts and like stole them and put them in Indianapolis. So there was like a few different scenarios where he got outbid or some kind of shady shit happened where he got missed. But I'm sure that he felt like he got duped on a few of these where he should have got it and didn't get it. And that kind of led to this big feud where he ended up suing the NFL.
It wouldn't matter anymore because he would have had to sell the team to be the president.
Most people don't realize that the NFL won't let you own any other team but an NFL team. So if you're a majority owner, now if you're a minority owner of an NFL or an NBA team, doesn't matter. But you can't be the majority owner of an NBA team and the majority owner of an NFL team. If you want to be an NFL,
how does that work with Josh then? Is he not the majority owner of the Sixers?
He's a minority owner. So, for example,
the Sixers.
Stan Kroenke, he owns like 6 different teams, right? He owns an NHL team, an NBA team, owns a soccer team, owns fucking everything. And he literally had to give up like full majority ownership stakes in the teams to own an NFL team. So basically what he did was he just dropped them to his kids. Hey, son, you get this team. Hey, daughter, you get this team. And he's basically
So he's
passing them
low-key
off.
still controlling it, though.
He still controls it,
Yeah.
but I'm assuming he puts everything in his trusts and everything is kind of like it's hard to track it, but technically he can't be the full majority owner unless you want to get rid of the NFL team. Now, that's NFL basically being like, we're going to write the rules. You can't be a head owner of multiple teams.
I actually have a fun little trivia question for you, Joshua, if you'd like to give it a guess. How many Americans play fantasy football or sports bet?
I'm going to say anywhere from 50 to 70 million.
It's actually pretty close to 70 million, but 85 million Americans.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That seems crazy.
No, that seems about right.
That's insane.
Yeah, I don't think so.
That's insane.
I worked for several.
There's more people sports betting than probably investing in their retirement.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Everyone wants the instant gratification. When you throw a bet, it's instant. You feel a game. You like to watch games. Sometimes it's better just to throw a little money on it. Now, should you be betting a lot of money? Probably not. And I wonder how many of those 80,000 bettors are actually throwing like real money. I don't know, because like I gamble, but I'm not gambling outside of my means. You know what I mean?
You only want to throw a lot of money on a bet unless it's a for sure thing.
Unless it's a lock.
Unless it's a lock. It's the only time you want to bet a lot of money unless it's a lock. There's locks out there.
If Big Cat gives you a lock, a can't miss parlay, you hammer it.
I feel like that's a Nelk Boys prank where they went up to people and were like, "Oh, it's for sure a lock, though." Like I feel like that was a Nelk Boys, or maybe it was Steve will do it. I feel like one of them in the crew were like going up to random people and be like, "Yeah, you should throw like your mortgage on that. It's a lock."
I want to loop back to Stan Kroenke because we kind of talked about him very briefly a little bit ago, how he had to give his teams to his son. But in 2016, he secretly moved an NFL team to LA, and it became one of the most lucrative moves in sports history. The story starts in 1995 when the Los Angeles Rams moved to St. Louis. That's when a Missouri native, Stan Kroenke, buys minority stake, which was 40% of the team, trying to be like a hometown owner type situation. Fast forward to 2010, and Kroenke bought the remaining shares of the team, so now he's the 100% owner of the St. Louis Rams. He basically signed a contract with the city that said that he would not relocate the NFL team, but the real caveat is St. Louis owned their stadium, and it was a piece of shit. It was run down. Stan was basically like, you need to get me a new stadium as soon as possible. So while the Rams were trying to find this new stadium location, raise the money, get all the politicians in order to get everything ready to go, he was secretly plotting his escape from St. Louis. He bought 60 acres in Los Angeles without anyone knowing. Bought it very secretly. Only the people in California really knew. They were like, why is this billionaire buying 60 acres of land? Made no sense. So this is where the story gets messy. St. Louis officials were pitching him a new stadium while he was already planning to leave in total silence. So in 2015, Stan Kroenke had the boldest move ever. He literally said, I'm going to build a $2 billion stadium in LA, whether I have a team or not. What makes this even messier was the Chargers and the Raiders had just submitted a competing bid to build their own stadium in Carson, California, which is still basically LA. That sparked a bidding war where Kroenke had to fight to get his team from St. Louis to LA, which was basically the team started in LA, went to St. Louis, trying to go back to LA. Stan Kroenke is like known for being a great behind the scenes facilitator. He got the NFL to vote 30-2 in his favor. The only two were the Raiders and Chargers, who were like, fuck this dude. I don't want him to take our spot.
It's funny that then the Chargers joined the Rams in the same stadium.
Well, that's why the Raiders ended up actually leaving, was because they kind of were the third man out. You can't put three teams at one stadium. The owner was kind of like, Al Davis was like, fuck this shit. I'm out. So that 60 acres of land that he just secretly bought ended up turning into SoFi Stadium, the most expensive stadium to ever be built. It was like over $5 billion. But here's the real kicker of this whole story. Stan Kroenke got sued by the city of St. Louis and had to pay $790 million out of his own pocket. Because he just up and left the team, which is by far the biggest bill any NFL owner has ever had to pay a city for leaving. But you could say it was a great move because according to Forbes, it's now the third most valuable NFL team of all time at just over $7 billion.
Well, that's a good place to leave it. If you made it this far, drop a like, leave a comment, hit subscribe. Till next Tuesday. Peace.
I gotta fight for my bros, I gotta stack out this gold. I tell you I'm on the road. About to get all this dough. Me and no fuck niggas know. I swear to God we the ghosts. This ain't the story they told. Man, if you know, then you know. I never had to tell my dogs that we on rough for greatness. They paper getters, they want money more than they want fake shit. I swear we go so hard, we on A-list. I see my niggas prevailing. We going hard for the hand. We gonna stack till we jaded. I just told my niggas that we on a mission. Yeah. It's gonna be hard to get it.